Alright guys, so just like yesterday, I want to go through and I want to recap today's price action. So I'll be looking at the SPY 5-minute chart. I'll be walking you through all the price action today, and then I'll let you know what setups show up, not only just signals, but also some good setups just given the price action. So let's get started. I'm going to hit the replay button and I'm going to go straight into today's opening candle. Alright, so let's look at the open. Should be the next candle after this one. Okay. So right here at the open, we get a short signal, right? So this happens if we draw this line here. We have this resistance formed by the pre-market high candle, right? We see that we retest that candle, we reject it, and then we get the short signal. If we're to take this signal, we would just scalp it right into pre-market low. Pre-market low overlaps with our 200 EMA, and it also looks like it's on an area of demand here. So we got to be careful. So we're going to take a scalp to the pre-market low, and if it closes below, we could get some more downside. So we take a scalp, we get a nice profit on that, but you'll see that we actually close below pre-market low, and what you'll see happen, and what really gives a good opportunity for continuation, is a retest of a significant resistance like pre-market low, and then a continuation to the downside, right? So I kept some of these puts here. I scaled about half of them here, and then I kept the remainder with a stop above pre-market low, and we're looking for a test of that demand zone below. You'll see that we pull back right into pre-market low. You also see I like to have the 200 EMA on my chart. We get a double resistance confluence, meaning we run into pre-market low as well as that resistance line, and then we close we make a lower low here, so it looks like we could have some continuation to the downside, because I also noticed that we have a lot of selling pressure on that top wick. Boom, right? We hit our target right there. I scale out of all of my puts. I'm out 100%. You'll see we do get a pullback candle here, and then a slight attempt to go higher, but as you can see, you'll see this pretty soon. This just ends up being a little continuation pattern, and then we get a dump to the downside. So now that we're below this zone, we're making new lows, and we see that we have a spike in volume here. We could get some more continuation to the downside. Now, when I see a large bottom wick like this, I'm a little bit wary of taking any kind of short position, because especially after we're extended, because we could get a pullback and then maybe continuation. However, you'll see here that once we close below this zone, this is a big selling candle, we have a brief slight pullback, and then we just dump all the way to the next zone. So at this point, if you're in any shorts, I would 1000% be out, and the reason why is that we're not just overextended here, right? I like to take a look at how far we are from our clouds, right? We're a huge distance here, almost 0.5% away from our EMAs. So that's telling us that was a very rapid move. A lot of distance covered in a very short period of time. We're extended to the downside, and we do have a previous day demand zone here that we respected, right? We tried to wick through it, and we closed above it. So I would be out of all shorts, and you know, it is typically we'll see a bounce at this area. The trend is still overall bearish, so I wouldn't necessarily expect a complete reversal, but you'll see that we have a sharp bounce, create this engulfing candle. I guess it's not engulfing relative to the last candle, but you'll see that we actually start to make a full reversal here, right? It's kind of a V-shaped reversal. And we run into a little bit of resistance here. You'll see we run into VWAP, and we run into some supply here. So I wouldn't expect us, it wouldn't be surprised if we, try to break out of the clouds, fail, and then get a little push back down. All right, so you see we're right at the 21 EMA, and then we end up retracing some of that move to the downside. All right, we're pushing back up here, and we are right past pre-market low. So this was actually, I believe, a little fake out here. Yeah, so you thought, it looked like it was potentially setting up for some continuation, since we closed above pre-market low, but ultimately we ended up retracing again. But you'll see we're still running into this area of demand here, right? And we have that bottom wick showing that we're getting a little bit of buying pressure. If I want to draw a zone here, I can draw a zone just like that. And that should give me a nice support area created by these candles, and now here retest it and respect it there. Okay, so we're getting a long signal here. Unfortunately, you can see that we are still right under a strong resistance, pre-market low. So that is a no-go. I would not take that long signal unless we get a strong close above pre-market low. And honestly, ideally, I'd want to see a close above that resistance as well before I went long. And you'll see here that it was actually the resistance was respected. We had a little push up, right, an attempt to get past pre-market low, but we ended up closing below with an inverted hammer candle, most likely showing us that we're going to get some more downside there. There's the pullback into the clouds. Okay, look at that. So we respected the same area we drew before. It's a good thing we had that on our chart. And now we're showing somewhat of a Morningstar reversal pattern. So I'm looking for us to get back above pre-market low, and then we can talk about some continuation to the upside. There we go. All right, so we got this PR signal here. Now the PR signal is a great entry. Let's take a look at what happened here with the PR signal. So again, you saw that we had this retest and respect of the same demand area we drew. We also closed inside the 2-day prior demand region there. You'll see that our volume is gradually rising as we get this bottom pressure wick here. I like the candle formation here, right? It's a nice bullish candle, and we have a lot of buying pressure at the end of that candle. And then you see the following candle also closes back above the EMA cloud. So this is a nice entry to go long. I would say probably first area of resistance we're looking at is at 200 EMA, and then we're looking at pre-market low. All right, retest that demand here, holds, and get some more continuation. And then here we go. Now we're back above pre-market low for the first time since 11:10 a.m. Right? So this time we actually closed above pre-market low, and we have some volume this time, right? Look at this nice rise in volume on this engulfing candle. We got the PR on our side here, and we closed above pre-market low. So now we can look at some continuation to our previous area of resistance, and then if we can get past that, we got some more clear skies for continuation to the upside. Boom. We have a brief pullback here at this automatically generated resistance here, and this is where I took all my call profits. But actually I ended up taking profits a little prematurely, because you see the next area of resistance, if we can get close past this area, which we do here, is this 5-day supply zone overhead. We end up actually tapping that zone perfectly. That gives us some downside pressure back into the cloud. The cloud holds. We close back above this resistance area that is now acting as support, and that gives us some more room to continue to the upside. All right, now we're past this supply area here. But you actually see, I believe we do pull back one more time into the clouds before hitting pre-market high, and there we go. So at this point, I would say we're a bit extended here on this upside move, and so I would definitely have all my profits there. But let's go ahead and keep going and see what happens here. Okay, we do get a PR. Now this PR is a tricky one, right? I do like the structure here, right? An extended trend, showing some heavy selling pressure. We're getting, our volume is rising here. However, we are still, above pre-market high, which makes me a little weary. So I didn't actually take this signal, but you will see we have a brief pullback, to this area of support and a little bit further, which you'll see there. And then right there we pull back, and then we get some more upside continuation. So gotta be careful. Even with the PRs, I like to make sure that I don't have anything in the way of the PR per se. So if I have a strong support and it's telling me a downside move, I'll be very cautious. I don't necessarily want to get caught on that support, and so you'll see here this is a good setup for some more upside. All right, and then we pull back into the clouds and pre-market high, and then we end up hitting this supply zone up here. That supply zone is respected, and it's a heavy resistance. And then you'll see we end up making our way back down. All right, we got a little PR there inside demand, and then we get a push to the upside there above pre-market high. I would definitely scale out of any PR signal there. We got a nice push back above pre-market high, and there's only 5 minutes until close, so there's not really anything you can do. And then boom, there we go. And then I believe Apple earnings should take us all the way up there. So that is a quick review of the 5-minute chart today. Some pretty interesting price action. It could be a little bit tricky. Best signal was a short signal at open, of course, and then this was a beautiful PR to catch the reversal here at the end of the day, as well as after the lunch hour. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow, and then I'll try to keep these as consistent as possible.